Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another PGR reaction. Of course, I need to get to Gaze of Wind now. I apparently have never heard this song. I swore I'd listened to it, and a bunch of other people were also surprised that I hadn't heard it yet somehow, and because I was covering every other Liv song, it's like, sure, let's get to this one. Apparently, it's like the Liv song from like 2 years ago, so I'm gonna hear this now because Liv is the best girl, and I guess without further ado, let's go! There's already something with the way this one sounds that feels more like early PGR compared to the other more recent songs I've heard. That'd just be a sound profile thing. Probably that like atmospheric stuff. Those synths that are just kind of floating around. Very smooth bass sample. Okay, I thought it was building into like a chorus there, but I'm getting another verse. The cello resonance is nice. I really like how much room there has been in this though. There's the chorus. I know the first one was kind of like an alternate to the chorus. Maybe I counted. Some songs are weird about that. Like, it's things like those arpeggios that were in there makes the space feel so alive. A little bit of a broken music box thing. They do that a lot in PGR, especially the songs from a few years ago. They really like to play with this sort of sound. Why is that? Is there like a lore reason for that sound? Like for every, like not every character, but like a lot of characters tend to have that going on. Why is that? That was Miku Ito doing the voice, wasn't it? I did not realize that the vocalist would be the voice of the character. And also I didn't know that Miku Ito voiced Liv. Even though I know her singing voice immediately most times. She has such a specific tone that's just so obvious to me. It's like I can pick her out of a crowd. But also, I never notice her actual speaking voice. Like, she's a chameleon in the anime scene when it comes to a bunch of shows I've seen. She's been in there, and I can never really tell when it's her unless she has to sing for the role. Then I'm like, oh shit, that's Miku Ito. I don't know why that is. I could not explain it, but they got Liv's voice to sing the song. So that's really cool. I love it when they do that. I wonder if they did that for the English dub too, because I know sometimes they try, but it always depends on like, can the actor actually sing? It's a whole different thing, and that's less common in the US, albeit still pretty common for the voices to be able to actually do the singing parts as well. It all just depends on what the goal is for the show, but a lot of Japanese actors tend to have both of those skill sets on like a guaranteed lockdown. So I just thought it was kind of fun that I recognized that. I didn't like freak out about it because like I heard it and I could tell who it was, but I was trying to focus on the lyrics and everything as well, and like all the instrumentals. I didn't want to be like, oh shit, it's Miku Ito. So I'm getting that out now, but it's just fun that it's like one of those characters, one of those people that I can tell just like right out the gate if it's them or not. And that's just fun, you know? But as far as the song itself goes, I loved the room that this gave itself. Like there was so much of that atmospheric stuff with the synths. They really had a lot of that space in the stereo with just wide out and in the back. All the synths, especially for like the first half of the song, were like really far back and just kind of, you know, dangling up and around and just making a room for the vocalist to exist in. There was a little bit of that bass line too. I loved that bass synth that they had. I really loved when they introduced it. That felt supernatural to have it like slide in there instead of including it from the very beginning, just adding a little bit more beef to the track, and then building up even further when we got to that like first real chorus where everything was included. It was just a very nice progression from including the atmosphere first to then putting in little bits of the song until we got to all of the elements of it being incorporated. It just felt really nice, and I think that reflects really well on the type of character Liv is too. I think that works really, really nicely. Somebody who starts off gentle and can definitely kick your ass if need be, but would obviously prefer not to if at all possible, and would prefer to help people if they can. So starting out with something that's a lot more gentle and then kind of like weaning into all of that other depth to the track is also very much like her character arc too. We just don't learn about her a lot from the beginning, and then when we do, it's like, oh, so it's just building on that, and I think that's a really good representation of her. It's very weird too, because like it's not often that I know enough about a character's lore in order to talk about these songs this deeply and how they relate to the characters. I'm guessing in most cases, but for this one, because I've played PGR and I know Liv's story mostly entirely at this point, I'm like, oh yeah, here's what makes sense, and it's just an odd thing to have. I don't have that with like basically any other character in PGR, but Liv, I know. That's only because her character story is one of those ones that like stuck out to me, and it stuck with me, and it's also very, very recent. The odds of me forgetting this all in the next couple months is fairly high, but either way, I'll utilize what I've got for now, and just again, the song having all of this room in here, yet at the same time keeping this like tight-knit sort of feeling, especially like there's little accents in the song, like with the cello kind of coming in there and just like fading in and fading back out. There's this bass line that exists in a moment. It's like there's a fragment of something else that's trying to peek in before it disappears again. And again, we didn't get really much of that bass until like a section after that one cello bit. It was like the following chorus where everything came together. So it was like trying to take little fragments of what was going to be and like sprinkling them into it as we went, including that first bass line, which kind of did the same thing just in a longer format. So like doing that and keeping like the arpeggiating synth up at the top for that little bit, and then using that as an ostinato for a few measures, which is like a repeating pattern, and just keeping up with those sorts of little trickles of information leading into all of this final energy where everything swells into this giant release. And it's a beautiful track. I'm kind of surprised at how well this built itself in reflection to the character and how subtle it was and how well it paid attention to that. I mean, sure, the whole point of making songs like this, I've talked about this dozens of times now, is to make a song that reflects the character. And they do it well most of the time. There have been exceptions, but usually the general rule of thumb is that they do a pretty good job for all the games that I cover. They nail that more often than not. But there are definitely certain songs that do that just slightly better. They pay a little bit closer attention to the subtleties of the character and their storyline and how that character came to be, the buildup of who they are, and reflecting that better in the music. And I think this song did that very, very well compared to another one that's just like, oh, they're kind of like a edgy maybe a little bit of punk. Let's make their song rock. It's like, okay, cool. You know, like that makes sense, but also it's kind of surface level, you know, like, oh, they're against the grain, so let's use something that's counterculture-y, like punk rock or something. Wow, who would have guessed, you know? But for this one, it was more of an essence thing. It was a personality that they were sharing in the song, not just, oh, well, she's calm, cool, and collected most of the time, but can swell into energy. Let's do that. This one was a lot more subtle with how exactly it was building that out, starting as subtle as they did and working into it. Sure, that's the surface level part, but it was the adding different layers and allowing you a peek in, like a little glimpse in to the character as we went and what the song would become. That makes this one stand out to me as more of like, this person who made this song cared more to get that essence down instead of just getting a paycheck for it. And I think they did a phenomenal job there. But I think that's about all I gotta say on this one. And now that I've heard this one, the motifs that I should have recognized from the other song make all that much more sense. But if you have anything else you want me to get to from PGR, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!